Alright guys, welcome to the first rig rundown on the channel. We're here with Dan. Dan has this absolutely beast, heavily modified, what do you call it, the Monster GU? Monster GU. It's an absolute weapon. We met him out at Land Cruiser Park, so I just honestly had to show everyone this thing. I thought it was so cool, and the best thing is he's built it himself. I really love that. I think if we are going to do rig rundowns, which I do want to do, that the rule is they have to be built by the owner, not just bolted on. So we're just going to do a walk around, then he's going to do some wheeling, so we'll just get straight stuck into it, eh?
Yeah, man.
Start with what's under the bonnet, and he has actually done a lot of work in here, so Dan, what have you done?
Alright, well, basically we got the top mount Johnny Tig intercooler, which was pretty cool, kind of a pain to fit, but that was alright. The 18G Arashi turbocharger still has a factory 11mm boost compensated pump, but that's being sourced for a 12mm. If you're ever doing this sort of thing with your TD, go the pump first, because it doesn't matter how much you can get air into it or whatever, if it's not putting fuel in, you're not getting power.
Yeah, it'll be the limiting factor.
Yeah. So I should have done the pump first.
Yep.
Either way, other than that, we've done a little bit of modifications. I got the larger intake pipe, the snorkel of course, dual battery setup. We've got the...
Is that a deep cycle?
Yeah, deep cycle battery,
deep cycle.
and cranking. This is the larger cranking one because I think it's 980 ccas, because these things need a lot to crank.
Yeah.
It's got the quick as upgraded fan and hub. It's got a 3-core copper brass radiator, so that went all right. It actually cooled down the temps. It used to get a little bit hot before we did before we got those put in, so it was hitting about 98 and 100 degrees, give or take, on the dials. And
now it's much lower.
Now it sits at about 70 all day long.
Wow.
I did install two XR6 thermos, which didn't do nothing before, but now if it starts to get to like 90, you flip those on the beach and you just watch it drop.
Okay, so they're manually triggered.
Manually triggered, so they make life so much better when you're cruising. All the wiring's done, so we've got lights all across the top of the car, rock lights underneath the car. We've got a winch in the rear, which all the wiring for that's over there. Obviously everything's run by to the fridge and everything. What else have we got?
Oh, have you done all the wiring yourself?
All the wiring myself. Everything's done myself. So
there's a lot of wiring.
Oh yeah. I can't even remember all the stuff that I've wired in it. So, but I've actually had to.
That's an isolator for the winch.
Yeah, this is the front winch isolator, and there's a rear winch isolator as well.
Yeah.
So the beauty of that is I've also got in-cab controls.
Yeah.
That way, when you're
like in and out,
inside, and it's also isolated inside the cab as well.
Oh wow!
So you can switch this on; it's still isolated in the cab.
Yeah.
The only thing is, if you've got the remote control that's wireless, you can then operate it from inside the cab as well.
That's so sick.
Yeah, it just makes life really easy when you're on the tracks. You don't have to try and jump down and stuff around and things like that.
Yeah.
So obviously the Redarc that switches between the two. I've got a button inside that I can use to crank it if the main battery dies.
Yeah.
There's wiring for a solar blanket that pops into the front here, and you just clip it off and away you go. What else is under the bonnet? Basically it's all pretty well stock other than that.
So have you fitted the turbo, the intercooler,
Yes.
the bonnet scoop? Is that a kit, the bonnet scoop and the cooler?
Yeah. JT comes with all of the stuff, as well as they give you an instruction on how to do it.
Yeah.
But you basically, when you go to cut it, I stuck the markers on the wrong spot and cut the inside, thankfully. So if you're ever doing it, always cut smaller first and see if it fits, then cut the outer, because if I had to cut the outer, I would have been stuffed.
Yeah, new bonnet.
Yeah, but especially since I just resprayed it at that point, that would have sucked.
So this is tuned too?
This is tuned, it's been tuned, which is basically because the pump's old. It's almost wound all the way out. It makes about 150 horse on the dyno, which is not too bad, but with a 12mm pump, I'm told it'll make around 250 easy.
Yeah, which is insane.
Which is way, way better, because I've done all the other mods, so why shouldn't I have done that to start?
And you got does that thermo come with the cooler?
Yep, thermo comes with the cooler. It's all factory.
That's pretty cool.
And it's just a quick play plug over there.
Yeah, that would help with temps.
That does.
Yeah,
Putting the thermo on, exhaust temps basically dropped 100 degrees.
Wow.
Straight up.
And that's manually triggered, or?
No, I'm going to make that manually triggered.
Yeah.
Because when you just crank the car and want to listen to music, it's running all the time.
Oh, so it's constant.
It's constant. As soon as it's wired into the accessories.
Yeah.
So
as soon as you're on.
As soon as you're on, you're on.
Yeah.
The other thing is, all of these like extra towers and stuff, I'm going to try and see if I can design something a little bit better so you don't have all the plugs on, because it just becomes difficult to make it neat and tidy.
Yeah.
But
you sort of need like another fuse block.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah, somewhere that's external. Well, I've got 2 fuse blocks inside the car, so all the wiring runs. So all of the.
So you got a main power wire to that, and then you take all the accessories off that.
Accessory runs to a main fuse block. So it's wired triggered through the key, which is also separately wired off of a relay. Yep. And then you have the main older time fuse. So basically everything all the lights are run 24/7. If you want to run them 24/7, the fridge is 24/7. Everything else is 24/7, and the fridge has its own main dedicated power source as well.
Wow.
So
the wiring in this is bloody hectic, actually.
Take a look.
Yeah. Moving on to bar work, and this thing is absolutely protected to the hilt, so we'll start with the bull bar.
Alright, the bull bar is the only part of the bar work I haven't fabricated myself, and that's only because with airbags, to make it legal, it has to have a ADR approved bull bar, and the only tube bar at the time when I built the car is Raslar down in Melbourne, and they basically allowed me to use their base setup, and I just modified like the hoops to make it match, and I made sure that all of the tube was the same OD. So this is 32 NB steam pipe all the way around.
And you were saying something about your front winch. You got them to...
Yeah, so the front winch is able to be removed from without taking the bar off or removing any of the grill in case I ever burn it out on a track. And as I've got the rear winch, all I gotta do is just unbolt the rear winch and slide it in. It's literally a 10-minute job.
Yeah.
And because both of them are the same winch, they use the same controller, no stress. So the front scrub bars, that took ages trying to bend it to get the same angle as all
so
of
you
the...
followed like the perfect line there.
Followed the line all the way around.
Yeah.
The sliders I would do again if I had the chance, because I made them as a step.
Yeah.
But if you take a look under, I've basically hit those on everywhere on both sides.
Yeah.
Because they stick out so far.
And so if you redone it, you would have it tilted up?
I'd just have it kicked up, yeah, just to give you that slight... So that's like another... I don't know, 100 mil clearance basically if I tilt it up, which would save me smacking it all the time. The rear slider, the rear scrub, that's my favorite part. That's the thing that saves all of my sills.
Yeah.
This thing here and also helps me get up tracks.
You've hit that.
Yeah, I hit both sides. So like all of the glasshouse tracks like Little Red, Ormo and everything, to get up all the tracks and everything where people usually get stuck, we smack into the rear scrub bar and it shunts the car over and keeps you moving, or you slide along the edge so this actually grips in. So
I don't know what to do with my hands and my body.
So the rear bar, that took the longest. That was trial and error. Like I had like 4 goes at it to get it right. Now, it's because it follows the body line. Obviously I did a rear quarter chop. The mud flaps are removable with just 2 wing nuts, so it takes 2 seconds to get them off. Everything's braced properly. It does have a second swing away, which I forgot to bolt. Yeah. Usually I run the treads, high lift jack, and a shovel. Yeah. And basically that's all it sits on the swing away, and it's easy to move. The rear winch is housed in here, and all the lights and everything come off that. It's all protected with extra steel because you don't want to smash all the lights. But the curves and the lines, when you smack into that and you're dropping off a rock, it actually pushes you away from the rock as well. So everything,
so
even though I didn't design it to push me off a rock, it just happened that way. Yeah. So
and you've done this yourself?
Everything, all of this myself. All the bar, so everything except for the bull bar I'd done myself.
So you'd think he's a bloody fabricator, but you're a train driver?
Train driver, yeah. I just a train driver, man. The rear winch was fun. I've actually only used it to change a tire. All the recovery points, that's all. Yeah, so they're 12 mil thick steel plate. Yeah. So,
what were you saying to me at Cruiser Park about these?
Alright, so I put the holes in because the weight of it was really heavy.
Yeah.
So cutting in those 3 holes basically took a quarter of the weight out of the entire rear end.
This is really cool, I think. Look at that.
And there you have it, 10 seconds and you're clear to go. Everything's clear and everything's out of the way too, so it's all been put on the right angle, so if you smack into it, it doesn't have any issues.
It's just been well thought out, eh?
Some of the stuff has, yes.
So the swing away you've made yourself as well?
Yeah mate, that all came good. It's locks in obviously the way it should. Yeah. And I designed it so that when you open it up, it doesn't hit the car. Obviously that's always good.
Oh wow, did you fluke that or did you?
No, well I measured it all. Made sure it would sail away. For bigger tyres if I ever go bigger again. Yeah. And then you got the pin lock removal, so it just sits in there and doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't matter what sort of angle you're on, it's not going to move.
Yeah, so when you're going in your back it doesn't get in your way and all that.
Yeah, so
Yep.
it's pretty simple.
All right, so moving on to the roof. So where's that roof cage from?
It's a King's roof cage,
Yeah.
King's awning. The lights are just out of eBay
Yeah.
because they're cheap, and if they get hit or whatever, it's not going to bother me.
They still look good.
Yeah,
Like
and they're bright as, man. You can see for like I use the side lights for when you're going into camp. You can just flick them on and see what camp number you're at.
Yeah.
Or if you're looking down a track, you don't have to actually turn in.
Yeah.
The only thing I've modified on the bar on the rack is just the fuel, so it takes 40 litres of fuel on the top, just for those little trips we need a bit more. And I didn't want to put a long range fuel tank under there because it's just a lot of weight and I never really need it. Most places in Australia you can get to on 120 litres, and with the extra 40 that gives me about 1200 kilometres range.
Yeah, wow.
And if I need any more, I do have two 10 litre jerry cans that I'm welding up to bolt into the back of the door, so it sits on top of the spare tyre, and that way we'll have way more range than we
So where do you do all your work?
in my shed at home.
Okay, you got a shed.
I got a shed, I got a
got a
welder,
welder.
I got crap ton of tools,
Yeah.
just things that I've accrued over time.
Yeah. So we're on to the body. So it's wrapped aligned, which is pretty cool.
Yes.
It actually, that's kind of what drew me to the car at first, because we're wrapped aligned in the GQ. I wanted to sort of see the finish on it, but it looks really good. You know, it looks like you took your time with it and done a good job. So
Well, the bar work is laid down with the Black Raptor at
Yeah.
38 psi like they recommend, and that went really easy. You do lose 2/3 of your spray, so you end up using a lot more than you think you do.
yeah, righto.
But that's not the biggest issue. It's not that
Yeah.
much of a problem. The body though, doing a car this size, they recommend 8 litres. I ended up using 12 because you just end up with the different lines looking through it.
I've seen that. Yeah, the strokes. You can see the strokes.
So
in it,
you need those extra layers, and those extra layers do give you extra protection.
Have you cleared that? Or is that
No, that's just straight Raptor.
Yeah.
And that's now 2.5 years old.
Oh, wow.
So, but to get that finish to kind of match with the bar work, because you add another, it's a different composite. I had to lay that down at a much higher psi. So I think that went down at about 72 or 78.
Yeah.
I think it was around there, and that was almost etching it into the body.
Yeah.
It was hitting it that hard.
Yeah.
But it did give you that really nice smooth finish. Well,
No,
smooth
it looks
finish.
really good.
And
you've got the Big Mother scoop that came with it, and that's black wrapped as well.
yeah,
is it?
that's black wrapped. I just used a paint can for that
Oh, yeah.
because
I've
was
seen
just
those cans.
Yeah, it just really it sprayed on nice and easy, and that was one can, so it did the whole scoop.
Yep.
And
I think the best thing about this, hey, I'm pretty sure if you scratch this, you can just can.
no. Well, you probably could, but the best part with scratching it is if you just rub it off. I've got a
right.
stick, I could scratch it and rub it off. It's not a problem, and it hoses off everything really well. So you get the marks, you just
Oh, it's gone.
it's gone.
Sweet.
It doesn't matter. So you can drag it across anything you want, and it just self.
Visit the website for the Raptor one. No, So onto the wheels, tyres, and suspension. So what are they?
The Dynapro hand coops, the new MT2s. We've only had them on there for about 1,000 k's or so.
Yeah.
And we obviously, when we were at Land Cruiser Park, we drove all the tracks out there, no troubles at all.
Yeah.
And today, this is basically all the work we've done with them so far. The best part about these is they have the rim protector. So when you drop off stuff, you're not smashing up your rims, because I had KM3s before, and every single one of my rims on the KM3s buckled.
Yeah.
Because all I did is smack them into rocks, into everything.
Yeah. They're a beefy looking tyre.
They're actually really good, and they've
They
got
got a lot of tread on them.
But the thing is that makes these cool is they've got different size tread blocks.
Yeah.
So they're supposed to flick the mud out a lot better than, say, other ones. So these are more, they're really good for long range. So they made them so you can do longer miles, which is what we want to do, but
Yeah.
also use them as a mud tire.
Yeah.
So they should wear really well.
Are they quiet?
Yeah, you can. They're way quieter than the KM3s that we had.
Yeah.
So that was cool. So the wheels are just ROH MiG 35s and just plain black steel, because if you smack them into something, you can put them back in. Hopefully they don't smack these ones in.
Yeah, if you ding them, you can just smack them with the hammer, right?
And then you just pop it, you just run a little bit of air and some WD-40 and then pop back on.
So the height of the suspension?
So suspension is 3 inches.
3 inch.
And
Fully legal.
Fully legal.
Fully
completely
engineered, lane
So,
change, swerve
I'll
test.
grab you a little.
It's crazy.
The thing is, it was after they did the new changes in Queensland, this was the first one they ended up doing to become legal. So it's done the LS9, LS10, LT2, LK1, and that's all of your swerve tests. That's all. They put a bunch of sandbags in it. They load it all up. They put little things bolted onto the outside of the car, and they brake really hard at 100 k's an hour. They change lanes down a hill, and I honestly thought, like, Please don't kill my car. But no, it handled it really well, stayed stable and everything, and passed all of that perfectly fine. The major thing that I found out when I've been pulled over is you have to have the paperwork in the car. If you don't have that in the car, it's considered illegal.
So it's got the blue plate as well?
Also has the blue plate, which I thought would be enough.
Yeah,
but
you'd
apparently
think so.
It was just lucky that the first time I was pulled over, this was still in the car.
Yeah.
So now I've got 2 copies and they're laminated.
Yeah.
Wheels, tires, suspension is all, the front is all Kings, rear is heavy duty 350 constant load Superior springs with a airbag, man airbags inside the back, and they're adjustable. The front drag links and rear drag links are Superior heavy duty because I bent them up.
Yeah.
The lower control arm is all Superior, and all of that is engineered as well, legal in Queensland as well.
Yeah, because Superior offer you can take a Superior slip of your part in, can't you?
Yes.
With you, yeah.
Yes.
Because
So
they offer that it's been engineered.
They give you the form and they email it to you, and I just print that out, and I'm going to make a folder up of all of that to go in the car as well.
Yeah, good idea.
Because all of that stuff is completely legal. I don't put anything on the car that's not legal.
Yeah. Are they quick remove sway bar links?
No, because quick release sway bars are not legal in Queensland.
they're not legal.
These are technically 8-inch sway bars.
Yeah.
Which, because it doesn't matter how long your sway bar is, as long as you have it.
So you got heaps of down travel.
I got heaps of down travel. Yeah, it was the only way I could find that kept it around. The only thing is you do bump the sway bar into thumb things because it sits lower than the lowest point of the car. But it doesn't matter. You just flex out of it and away you go. The hubs have been upgraded to the GQ hubs, so they are much stronger than the auto hubs.
Yeah.
Just much better. Manual locking, you don't have to stuff around, it's not constant forward drive then.
Yeah.
So it saves on fuel and everything.
Yeah.
The brakes and rotors are bigger brakes, they're slotted in disc rotors, and what we're going to do is I'm going to get hydraulic brakes fitted. I'm sourcing that from Mark's 4-wheel drive adapters.
Oh yeah.
They're going to do it. They did the low range gear sets.
Yeah.
I got low range
So you
gear
got
sets.
low range.
Oh,
Jesus
I should do
Christ.
that too. Damn, I'll have to tell you about that. Yeah, so basically the suspension's all completely legal.
Yeah.
That's the most important
Wow.
part.
Yeah. All right, so we've got a big storm rolling in, so we're going to try and be really quick, but drivetrain, you've got a front locker, tight, shimmed LSD in the rear, and you got reduction gears, is that right?
Yeah, so it's front ARB air locker with the ARB compressor. The reason I went that way is I wanted the compressor anyway, and I thought, well, at least I've got it done, no worries at all. The gearbox has been completely rebuilt with oversized gear stacks, so everything's bigger. The 5th gear overdrive is put in as well, so it's even lower when you run it up the road. It only idles, so it runs at about 1900 RPM at 100 k's an hour, which is really good on fuel. It's got low range gear set, 43%. I'm thinking about pulling those out and putting 63s in because I didn't know you could get 63s at the time.
Okay.
But 43s are just fine. They're really good on the beach. As soon as you get stuck, you just keep moving.
Yeah.
And the rear LSD is shimmed up to 80 foot-pound. So they come out from factory at about 40, shimming it up to 80 foot-pound. If you go around a corner that's slowly, you got to go slow if it's tight. Otherwise, it'll just start
skipping.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so we'll just check out the rear now. All right, so in the back, what do you got?
Okay, so just a quick little fold down table, which comes in real handy. I'm going to make the straps adjustable, which I should have done, but you get that. Behind the door on this side, we have all of my spare hoses. So every hose that you need in the car, so fuel hoses, coolant hoses, radiator hoses, they're all in there, and a full belt kit as well in case you have a problem. Over here we've got the fridge slide, obviously. Normally we take 2 tables and a bunch of other stuff, but obviously today we're just here. These are all the outboard, so this is all 24 constant power. Switching to charge things, no worries at all. Welded up a little bracket for 40 litres of fuel, 40 litres of water.
Fuel for the human.
Fuel for the human, yeah. So 40 litres of water sitting there and behind the fridge, and that makes it really good for longer trips. It's just a nice little spot.
That's cool.
In here I also carry like a bunch of spare parts. So I've got spare bearings, I've got a brand new alternator, a brand new starter motor, everything like that, because those are the things that if they don't work on track, you're stuffed. Yeah. And I've had that happen before. So
I've learnt the hard way just recently that it's good to carry spares.
Just take spares. Yeah. It's so much easier. Then I've got a ton of tools. I've got all my oils. I got gear oil, engine oil. I've got coolant, a whole bottle of coolant. Yeah. So basically, if almost anything on this car breaks, I've got electrical wiring kits as well, so I can make it run again if I have to. Or all I would do is just cannibalize the lower lights, so all the rock lights. I'll just take all the wiring from that and run it. Yeah. This thing has 8 wires, and only 4 of them you need to run the car.
Wow.
So it's a mechanical fuel pump. Everything is basic as, and it just works really well.
Is that standard with this model, the mechanical? Yeah. So that's why you chose this model?
I chose this model because it doesn't have any, it's got no EGRs, nothing extra.
What year is it?
2000 model.
2000,
it was the only model that came out that way.
Yeah.
I have had a copper pull me up saying I've done an EGR delete, and I had to show him on the app that there is no EGR on this.
Heard you guys are causing a real riot.
So
Bloody coppers, mate.
always.
I noticed that all your door jams and all that are Raptor-coated too.
Yeah, well, I started on the inside, so this was my practice, and it's not anywhere near as good. I did it at 38, like they said, and it's starting to flake.
Yeah.
So as I went around the car, I did all the door jams. I just kept turning the PSI up until I got the really nice outside, which it doesn't matter. It's not going to rust.
It's cool, and it's all one colour. What colour was it previously?
It was gold.
Gold. Yeah.
Gold. So when you lift the bonnet, there is still a little bit of gold underneath the top of the bonnet because it didn't spray under it.
Yeah.
I didn't know how that'd go under heat.
Yeah.
But that's basically the back of it.
Done well. It's a really cool truck.
Thanks, man.
And just about every part of it has been modified, and he's done it himself, which is the coolest thing.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's time, and I don't really want to spend a lot of money on something. And the best part is, I know now that I've pulled everything apart, I know how it all goes back together on the track.
You haven't done any shortcuts either, which I really like.
No.
Everything's done properly, which
as much as I can. Like,
it's down crap. So we got rained out.
Bit of footy in the work.
In the car?
Yeah.
Alright guys, so that's Dan's Monster GU. As you can see, he's put a lot of time into this, roughly 250 hours he reckons. So 6 months to build it.
6 months. Yeah, I was parked in the shed in the garage for about 3 months while I did all of the body work and cut everything up and welded everything to go. And then it took another 3 months after that, but I was driving at the same time and just parking it in the shed.
Yeah, so dedication.
Well, you get to the point where you're like, I need to drive it, otherwise I can't finish.
How many times did you want to burn it?
I don't want to say. I don't want to say.
Every day.
It was the bar work, trying to get it to follow the line. That's the bit. And then the wiring. Actually, the wiring was
a big question that's probably on everyone's mind and my mind as well is, and if he doesn't mind talking about it, is how much money he's put into it. Obviously, he's done all the work himself, which I really appreciate and love. But what's the figure?
So cost total, including purchasing the vehicle and registering it?
Including engineering?
Including engineering as well.
And lane change?
Lane change, the whole lot.
Yeah.
Everything all up, about $34,500.
Yeah.
Now, it could be, like that's not taking into account servicing or anything like that, but it's just constant, all the build cost, all of the, everything I put in it and all the parts that I put into it.
It's not that bad, really.
No, not when you look at, like, you buy new cars, your start price is more than $35,000.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I mean that's
and it's yours.
And it's mine. And I had to drive to Chinchilla to find one, and I got it off an old guy, and red dust, no rust. So there's not any rust in the car. Perfectly straight body. All he did was tow with it, and just put a whole heap load of Ks on it because it does have 400,000 kilometers on it.
Okay. Yeah. So is it the motor's unopened?
Unopened, 400,000, and I'm about to put a 12mm pump on it.
Yeah, just broken in though.
Yeah, it's TD42, mate.
Yeah.
It's just got 600,000 Ks to go before you start looking.
Okay, so what are your future plans and modifications that you're going to do to the Monster GU?
So future plans are obviously the 12mm pump, because I should have done that first.
Yeah.
That's a regret. And also the hydraulic brake upgrade. So because it weighs so much,
trying to stop it.
Even with all the upgraded brakes,
especially if you go into 250 horse, you're going to want to pull up pretty quick.
Yeah, more power means more braking, and it is a lot heavier with all of the bar work. And when we go away, we load it.
Have you done a clutch?
No, no, it's a brand new clutch. So I've got a brand new heavy duty clutch that I put into it. X-City heavy duty. They had a special on. Actually, I bought most of my stuff on special. So if you wait until you get 30-40% off some things, and if you buy stuff in together, you get deals as well. So that's generally how I save a lot of money.
Yeah, bargain hunting.
Yeah, taking the time.
Yeah.
And one other thing is, when you're buying stuff like this, make sure you just go for quality first. So I've bought things and it's failed, and then I had to re-spend the money. So that's why this
Yeah,
time.
so the old rule that we say is the poor man pays twice.
Yeah, so with all my previous, like I had a Hilux before and I had a GQ Patrol,
Yeah.
I bought things twice, sometimes 3 times because I didn't learn my lesson.
Yeah.
This car, I just saved up and bought everything factory perfect to start with.
And if you're 100Ks out, you don't want cheap stuff breaking on you.
No.
You want the best of the best.
You want stuff that's going to last 400,000, like it had the original starter motor until I just replaced it.
Yeah.
400,000 kilometers of starts,
Yeah.
and then it fails, 20 years.
Yeah.
So that's not bad.
So do you buy genuine?
Bought genuine,
'Cause
I saved up my pennies. Yeah.
I just put one in the GQ off eBay.
Well, I got one in there from eBay. They're 120 bucks.
120 bucks.
But the thing is, I don't know how far that's going to go. And
It works well so far.
yeah. So it'll get me out of trouble. That's good to know.
Yeah,
I'm
it
happy
will,
with that.
Yeah. All right. So, any regrets or things that you would do differently the first time round?
Yeah. So number one, put the fuel pump in first.
Yeah.
Because that makes more power. I mean, I've been spending money on other stuff, which is great. It's all going to work, but I should have done that first.
Yeah.
Number two, rock sliders. I'd give them more of a rake, so I have that extra 100 mil, and I'm not whacking them into everything. And I
Yeah.
probably will redesign that in the future.
Yeah.
And number three, I would have gone the tires. So I had KM3s and
Straight away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Hand Coops, buy a tire that has a rim protector. So without the rim protector, you just buckle all of your rims, and that was pointless.
It's funny you say that because I've never heard of that. I've never heard of people because my sidewall actually protrudes out
Yeah, but when you drop it, like
when it falls in.
yeah, well, I've been smacking that into every rock,
Yeah.
every side bank, and because I've got the sliders, a lot of people will try and drive the ruts.
Yeah.
I just drive the bank.
Yeah.
I don't care because it's not going to hurt it.
Yeah.
So, but the problem with doing that is you literally run your rims into everything.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
That's a good tip. All right, we're going to film some driving now. We're going to send him. We're at a place called the Quarry. It's just got technical little spots everywhere, so we'll just send him up a couple of things and hopefully make some loud noises and.
Well, it'll flex. It doesn't make that much noise, but it'll flex.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Let's do it. Alright guys, so that's it for the Monster GU. Thank you so much to Dan for coming out. It's nice meeting you again. And I love your rig and I love that you built it yourself. So that's pretty much it guys. Thanks for watching and leave a like if you like this rig. What's your Instagram?
It's Gone Rogue 4x4.
So give that a follow and that's all for today guys. Catch you later. I'm gonna look really small. Everyone be like, I thought you were tall. It's not a very good shed, Ryan.
Wait, what? What do you want?
What do I want to do talking about?
Just say what we're doing.
Oh, we're just driving up to the quarry.
Like I've never seen. Oi! Get out of the bush!
Bye. Bog my other glasses.